The year is 1944. The world is at war, but behind the clash of tanks and the roar of bombers, a different kind of battle is being fought. It is a battle for knowledge, for the secrets of the atom. In Germany, a team of brilliant but misguided scientists toiled under the watchful eye of the SS. Their leader was Werner Heisenberg, a Nobel laureate whose genius had been twisted to serve the Nazi regime. Heisenberg and his team believed they were on the verge of a breakthrough. They were right. The Nazis poured resources into their nuclear program, codenamed Uran Project. They believed that an atomic weapon would be the key to winning the war. They were wrong, but the world would pay the price for their folly. Allied intelligence had caught wind of the Nazi nuclear program, but they had underestimated its progress. They believed that Germany was years away from developing an atomic bomb. They were wrong. The summer of 1944 was a time of both hope and fear for the Allies. The world was at a critical juncture, with the fate of nations hanging in the balance. The D-Day invasion had been a resounding success, and the liberation of France was well underway. The Allies were making significant strides, pushing back the Axis powers and reclaiming occupied territories. Yet the war in the Pacific raged on with relentless intensity, and the Nazis continued to fight with fanatical determination on multiple fronts. The conflict seemed far from over. Unbeknownst to the Allies, the Nazis had achieved a critical breakthrough in their nuclear program. In secret laboratories, German scientists worked tirelessly, pushing the boundaries of science and technology. On July 16, 1944, at a remote test site in northern Germany, the Nazis detonated their first atomic bomb. The world would never be the same again. The Trinity test, as it came to be known, was a terrifying display of raw power. The explosion was unlike anything humanity had ever witnessed before. The blast shook the ground for miles around and sent a massive mushroom cloud billowing high into the atmosphere. The sheer force of the explosion was a grim reminder of the destructive potential of this new weapon. The Nazis now possessed the weapon they believed would change the course of history. They saw it as their ultimate trump card, a means to secure their dominance. Hitler, blinded by hubris and desperation, saw the atomic bomb as his trump card. He believed it would break the Allies' will to fight and secure Nazi domination over Europe. The Führer was convinced that this new weapon would turn the tide of the war in his favor. The Führer, however, did not anticipate the horrors he was about to unleash. The true cost of wielding such a weapon was beyond his comprehension. The world remained ignorant of the momentous event that had transpired in the German wilderness. The Allies continued their fight, unaware of the new threat looming on the horizon. The Nazi high command, sworn to secrecy, celebrated their triumph in hushed tones. They believed they held the fate of the world in their hands, confident in their newfound power. The Nazis were now more determined than ever to achieve their goals, no matter the cost. August the 9th, 1944, dawned like any other day in wartime London. The scars of the Blitz were still visible, but the spirit of the people remained unbroken. They had endured years of bombing and hardship, and they were determined to see the war through to its end. At 9:15 p.m., a lone Heinkel He 177 bomber, modified to carry an unusually large payload, breached the city's defences. It flew undetected over the heart of London. Then, without warning, it happened. A blinding flash, brighter than the sun, illuminated the night sky. A deafening roar shook the city to its core, followed by a shockwave that flattened buildings like dominoes. London, the indomitable heart of Britain, was laid waste in a heartbeat. The bomb, nicknamed Thor's Hammer by its creators, detonated over the city's centre. The Houses of Parliament, Buckingham Palace, and thousands of homes were vaporised instantly. A firestorm erupted, engulfing the city in a maelstrom of heat and destruction. Section 4. The City of Lights flickers and dies. News of the attack on London sent shockwaves across the globe, reverberating through every corner of the world. The world struggled to grasp the enormity of the event as disbelief and fear spread like wildfire. The miracle weapon that had brought such devastation was no longer a figment of science fiction. It was a terrifying reality, a harbinger of a new era of warfare. Determined to capitalize on the chaos and fear he had sown, Hitler ordered a second attack, this time on Paris, aiming to break the spirit of the Allies. The City of Lights, already occupied by the Nazis, was to serve as a gruesome testament to German might, a chilling message to the world. On August 12, 1944, just 3 days after the London attack. A V-2 rocket armed with a smaller tactical nuclear warhead rained down on the French capital, altering the course of history. The detonation, though less powerful than the one that had obliterated London, was still a horrifying spectacle, a grim reminder of humanity's destructive potential. The blast, centered on the Eiffel Tower, reduced much of the city's center to rubble, leaving a scar that would take decades to heal. The iconic landmark, once a symbol of French ingenuity and progress, became a twisted, radioactive pyre, a haunting relic of a world at war. Section 5. A world reeling. The world watched in horror as the aftermath of the attacks unfolded, with scenes of destruction and despair broadcasted across the globe. The death tolls in London and Paris climbed into the hundreds of thousands, leaving entire communities shattered and countless lives forever altered. The true extent of the devastation would not be fully understood for years to come, as the physical and emotional scars ran deep. The use of atomic weapons sent shockwaves through the Allied leadership, forcing them to reconsider their strategies and the future of warfare. The unimaginable had happened. Hitler had acquired the ultimate weapon and had not hesitated to unleash it on civilian targets, changing the course of history. The war had entered a terrifying new phase, one where the rules of engagement were forever altered. Fear and uncertainty gripped the remaining Allied nations as they struggled to comprehend the new reality they faced. The United States, still reeling from the surprise attack on Pearl Harbor, now faced a threat of unimaginable proportions, one that required immediate and decisive action. The world held its breath, bracing itself for what seemed like the inevitable escalation, as nations prepared for the worst. The use of atomic weapons also had a profound impact on the German people, who were now living under the shadow of their own nation's actions. Many, caught up in the Nazi propaganda machine, initially celebrated the victories in London and Paris, believing them to be signs of impending triumph. However, as the true extent of the devastation became clear, a sense of horror and shame began to creep in, leaving the German populace to grapple with the moral implications of their leaders' decisions.